All right, we should be live and running. Let me see here. How's everybody doing today? Yeah, there we go. Live and in living color, right, guys? So, we got something special coming up for y'all today that we've been putting together ever since let's wait for a little more people to get on here. All right. Let's turn that down a little bit. How's everybody doing today, guys? Thanks for joining, our this little podcast. We have been going not as consistently as we like to have, right? But we've been trying to bring you something different here and there. But of course, we have the Rising Texan podcast that we've kept as regular as we can. Carlos, how you doing tonight? Um, this is episode 84, guys, and we're doing a little something different. Um, where we had a concern that came up, so we at a recent Maverick County Commissioners Court meeting. So what we actually did is gather all the information for you, show you where we got the information from. So you're gonna see um, right here in a minute whenever we start looking into, going into the rabbit hole, so to speak, and following the trail because there was a real important concern that our the Democratic nominee for Maverick County Judge Ramsey English Cantu brought up during the meeting, and we're going to show you that meeting right now, so you guys can put into context what it is we're talking about. And I'm going to go ahead and share with you several things that I've been able to find um, through doing a little bit of research. So um, that way you guys kind of know that, I'm not making anything up. I'm going to take you to several sites that have these people already documented, and, there's stuff out there on the web about them already. And that's what we wanted to bring you guys, is something that's, true to our knowledge that we're looking for. That way you guys kind of see the process that we have to go through whenever we're trying to, check things out. If we have a story, if we don't have a story about something, and the process that, check several sources when we do to verify some information. Now, again, uh, the meeting, Maverick County Commissioners Court, just the most recent one that they had was an interesting one. Item number 20, I believe it was, that they were gonna extend, renew, or possibly go out for special services. And of course, part of the agenda did say to extend or renew the contract with Shepherd Government Affairs. Now, what was interesting about the meeting, right before I show you guys real quick, was that we did have our possible next Maverick County judge. Of course, Mr. Cantu does have a Republican candidate, Mr. Rosales, that is running against them. Will be running against them in the general elections come this November. So we can't just say he's, Maverick County judge just yet, but could be. You had go up in the last Maverick County Commissioners Court meeting and let us know that the concern about hiring these guys, Shepherd Government Affairs, and we kind of followed through to see what were the concerns. Now, he was absolutely right that these guys have been under contract since 2018, and it was almost right after David Salcedo won his reelection against Rudy Bowles. If you guys remember, at that time there was no Republican candidate, so it was a runoff between Rudy Bowles and David Salcedo. The original election, of course, had a three-way that included the Democratic opponent, Miss Gloria Hernandez. So it was three, and then they voted, and then it went down to two, the runoff, which was David Salcedo, Rudy Bowles. As soon as Rudy Bowles won in 2018, this Shepherd Government Affairs company or partnership showed up, especially the characters associated with that partnership. And let us take you to the video here, guys, real quick. Let me just set that up so we can get it for you. One second. Let's see. 1 second. This one-man production team here, guys. All right. Sorry about that. I guess we're up and running now. So let me go ahead and show you here side by side so you guys can take a good look at what I'm talking about. First of all, let's go ahead and play this video. At what I'm talking about. First of all, let's go ahead and play this video. Commissioner Precinct 4 is absent today. That's what I'm talking about. We are now under record. First of all, let's go ahead and play this video. Commissioner 4 is absent. Of renewal for the Shepherd Government Affairs contract. It is my understanding that, of course, that this firm has been with Maverick County for well over 5 years now. And the concern, of course, like that of the people of Maverick County is what have they accomplished, both as lobbyists and as grant writers for the county. How much have they brought in grants for the community needs? Is this firm, of course, deserving of such a renewal of such a lucrative contract of well over $96,000 per year? I'm hopeful that the administration and court will explain to the general public its justification of such actions that's taken here today. And I, of course, appreciate the court's time and willingness to listen to one of our concerns here today. I appreciate that, and I'll turn my time back over to you, Judge. And, of course, discussion and possible action to advertise for special services or extend renew contract with Shepherd Government Affairs for August 1st all the way to 2023. Discussion and possible action to advertise for special services or extend renew contract with Shepherd Government Affairs for August 1st, 2022 until July 31st, 2023. Do we have a motion? So moved, Judge. And what's your motion, sir? My motion is to renew contract with Shepherd Government Affairs from August 1st, 2022 to July 31st, 2023. We have a motion by Commissioner Morales. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Cantu. We're in discussion. No discussion. Nothing. Questions or comments? All those So that's one of the things that I needed you guys to see just before we, continue on here. So this video actually this was June the 13th, which is in 2022, of course. And, I was last week? Um, they got approved, no discussion, even though Mayor Ramsey English Cantu, or former Mayor Ramsey English Cantu, went up there, said his, what was the concern, requested that the court, provide some kind of discussion, explanation as to why these guys have been on contract since, what is it, 2018? So if we go ahead and check, let me go ahead and bring this down. So that's what started it, right? Now, one of the things that we're going to bring you next, we were trying to get into the website to show you in Facebook, but I guess I don't know if we were blocked or something, or we weren't looking for it the right where we're supposed to, right? So hopefully you guys can take a look here on our TikTok. We actually reported back in May of 23rd of 2020, OB Salinas is with David Salcedo. 2 years ago today. So if he's saying 2 years ago today, that would put it at May 23rd, 2018. So as you can see, what he's doing is he's block walking with David Salcedo. That was 2 years ago. It was 2018. It was during the race. Either it was the race with the three candidates in it, or when it was the runoff with David Salcedo versus Rudy Bowles. And this character right here, Mr. Salinas, he is actually one of the partners that is registered. His name's registered under the Shepherd Government Affairs. He's a partner in the Shepherd Government Affairs. And we'll show you that right now. So there you have one post. There was another picture of them coming out together. So, I mean, you have that, and immediately after the judge won that runoff, he hired this Shepherd Government Affairs company, which is what we are going to show you here today. And we have several here. Now, we're not sure as to, oh, here you go. From the Business Journal. OB Salinas and Gus Garcia have announced their new partnership, a boutique firm focused on government and regulatory regulations, public affairs, and strategic planning. Okay. So as you can see, it was formed. It was formed back, when was this date? This was February 2018. Okay, February 2018. So that was actually before this happened over here. All right. So let's look up. Now, it did have one of those individuals that you saw, and we got them both named right there. These are the partners. I mean, this is their business, and this is what they do, So you have Agustin G. Garcia, Urlen Obi Salinas. This is what makes up, according to their website, according to what the Business Journal says here, They say Oberlin OB Salinas has served the chief of staff to State Representative Poncho Navarez for the past 5 years. He has experience staffing the powerful House Calendars Committee, House and Local Consent Calendars Committee, and House Natural Resources Committee. Okay. So Salinas was Navarez's campaign manager when he was first elected in 2012 and has decades of experience advising elected officials on their political campaigns. OB is originally from Edinburgh, Texas, now resides in Georgetown, Texas, where he is married to Amy Rister, uh, also a longtime political staffer. Okay, so let's get back to our list here. Okay, we can do. Whoa, what's going on here? All right, sorry about that, guys. But we can just do this. So you might wonder if they've been getting paid $96,000 a year since 2018. Who are these guys? Who's benefiting from these contracts? We were, concerned about it because we saw this come out in the Maverick County Commissioner's Court. So that's why we decided to kind of deep dive into what's going on. So this is one of the things that we came out, something that we found. It was a Miguel Angel Garza. And guys, this is here, it's an election complaint to the city secretary. So the Texas Secretary of State. So you have an option whenever you have something that you don't see right, or something happened that you want to make a complaint about having to do with an election. You would actually file an election complaint such as this to the Texas Secretary of State. Now, this is not anything, and anything that we are showing you here is not of our. We didn't come up with it. We didn't make this up. We did not create these documents. We simply browsed the web and we were able to find what was already on here, what someone else already placed. And that's what we're trying to show you guys, is that this is already on here. If you guys would look up on the internet, you can easily find, information. Um, so you have Mr. Burlan Salinas, and where one has to assume, being from Georgetown, as the article from the Business Journal said, has an address of Georgetown here. Now, what this election complaint alleges is that Mr. Salinas was living in had a registered address at 206 East 15th Street, Apartment 5, when he voted in November 2017 Edinburgh City election. Mr. Salinas used the local address 2403 Pecan Ridge Lane, Edinburgh, in order to vote in the election. Please see the affidavit. So it goes ahead and cites what offense it was. Again, it says the same thing here. This was filed in for the city of Edinburgh election, and it was in Hidalgo County. Now, there's a lot of stuff coming out of Hidalgo County from La Jolla ISD, the city we posted it earlier. There's a lot of, not good things coming out of Hidalgo County recently, and has been for the past year. So here it explains the listing of documents. So you have an affidavit from Mr. Garza that put in the complaint. You have an invoice from Mr. Salinas, which is Obi Salinas, right? Overland, residence in Austin. And then you have a copy of a voter list showing the date and time that Mr. Salinas voted. And then you have public records search showing Mr. Salinas purchased a new home on this date, November 21st, 2017, located in Georgetown. You have this gentleman signing and attesting it in under penalty of perjury that he is saying the truth and he has provided the information. His affidavit here. We'll be posting up this information, guys, so you guys can get a good look at it. But we're just kind of browsing over and letting you guys know what we found on this particular subject that was brought up. We have a signature advocacy invoice here that for professional consulting services, and it has obsalinas at yahoo.com with a phone number. Um, make all checks payable to signature advocacy. So, and then here in this next page, it does have what seems to be, saying that he voted. Of course, it has the time and everything, and that's exactly what Mr. Garza is trying to say. And then we have a property detail here. I'm guessing from the wherever the Georgetown has their records, Williamson County, great county. Um, and then you see that his name is listed as purchasing a house there in Georgetown. Okay, so I mean, how far this went, I could not see whether anything was charged, anything went through, but there is a election complaint form that seems to have been filed with the Texas State Secretary. So again, this is not anything that we came up with ourselves. We just simply, I mean, you can Google this, guys, if you'd like. Like I said, we will provide it for you as well. But you can Google, his name or affidavit, and that is going to come out just like we found it. You guys should be able to find that as well. So jumping on to the next thing here that we have, and they're not in any particular order, guys. We were just trying to get this information out, let you guys know what was the concern with these guys once we started looking for this information, because of it's not every day you get a Maverick County Democratic nominee bringing up a concern of a contract that's being issued by a part of the majority, which includes the county judge, that where two of those three, their service is up at the end of the year. So it's kind of confusing, or kind of we wonder why they would make such a big decision. But kudos to the Democratic nominee Cantu for the county judge that went up and did say something. Now, him having say something about that, of course, so doesn't it pique your interest as to who are these people? Again, we have another article here in February 2018 where Salinas and Garcia, and this is Obi Salinas, Oberlan Salinas, and Agustin Gus Garcia announced a partnership. Um, at this time, when they announced it, it says here he was a legislative member, Oberlan Obi Salinas, and former Edinburgh Economic Development Corporation Executive Director, Agustin Gus. And it's pretty much, this is giving you backup as to where they came from, as far as the same kind of stuff that the Business Journal was telling us. We were able to confirm everything the Business Journal said through this website from the Valley. And moving on, Let's see. You see, this one worked. The last one didn't work. I wonder why. So here you have the Texas scorecard. Now, if you don't read the Texas scorecard, I highly recommend you read or highlight or bookmark their page. Um, they're a very good source of state and federal elections. Of course, since they're a little bit further away from us, they don't cover our local elections, which is what we're trying to fill the gap for you guys, for those interested in following what our local politicians are doing. So you have, it says here, Molina takes hatchet to Economic Development Corporation. So you have the newly elected officials terminate contractual agreements with the Democrat state lawmakers, chief of staff, and executive director of Economic Development Corporation. Now that sounds a little familiar. Let's take you down a little bit. So, the first sentence that this Texas scorecard. Now, again, this is there's been a lot of people that don't or take shots at our credibility here at the Rising Texan, and that's fine. But this is the Texas scorecard. These guys have been doing this for quite some time. Very good stuff. Now, the first sentence on this article is a wave of positive change may be coming to the city of Edinburgh. The city of Edinburgh is a big city, guys, much bigger than Eagle Pass. And for that initial statement has to, catches your attention right away because so what was the negative part of it, right? We scroll a little bit down and we see the executive director, Agustin Gus Garcia, who had served as administrative leader for the EEDC, Edinburgh Economic Development Corporation, has had his contract terminated at, at the latest EEDC meeting on Tuesday, November 28th. Now, mind you, this was back in 2017, guys. This was back in 2017. Um, I guess right before May 2018 when we saw that video from before on TikTok. So let's see, line by line. So it says here that there was concerns about expenditures um, that were done that did not have the interest of taxpayers' interest. Um, not getting too much into it, right? But some of the stuff that was paid for was pest control, lawn maintenance, equipment purchases, travel, office supplies, storage, personnel, benefits, payroll taxes, communications, legal services, miscellaneous. So there were several things that were charged to the company, and that's what they're kind of citing or saying here. Um, what they saw and why ultimately they decided to uh, let him go. Now, it does say that it was kind of a marathon meeting, going about 6 hours. They were being diligent in what they were doing as commissioners, councilmen, or whatever position that they have. But whenever it got to the 160,000 annually plus benefits that Agustin Garcia was getting from the EEDC, it says here that it was not on the best interest of the citizens. Shortly after that, as you can see, Texas scorecard again, quote, another much needed change was the termination of a contract with Signature Advocacy Inc. At EEDC's special meeting on November 20th, the board unanimously voted to terminate all professional agreements with Signature Advocacy Inc., run by Orlan Ovi Salinas since June 2016. Salinas had received $6,333 a month from Edinburgh taxpayers' money, totaling over $100,000. He was hired for a dubious position performing liaison, and it's liaison. They have it quoted, which I guess we're quoting too, right? But liaison services between various entities throughout the RGV as well as the state capital during legislative session. Salinas, again, these are the partners of Shepherd Government Affairs. Salinas' most recent contract renewal over the summer was the subject of public scrutiny among residents for his failure to register with the Texas Ethics Committee as a lobbyist. Now, guys, I'll take you there right now and I'll show you. But when we looked, we saw that he was registered as a lobbyist in 2018. And I'm talking about Oberlan Obi Salinas. He was registered in 2018 whenever they hired the company to do lobbying services or grant services or special services, the contract that they were hired to do, 2018, he was registered as a lobbyist. Now, 2019, 2020, we saw that he was not registered as a lobbyist, and then he registered again in 2021 and 2020. And we'll show you that in a little bit. Um, so they're bringing up that concern that he wasn't even registered as a lobbyist at this point. Now, we do know that he was not registered in 2019 and 2020, which will show you his, everything is documented online, guys, so you can see. Again, it goes on to, meanwhile, concerns, I'm quoting Texas Scorecard again. Meanwhile, concerns were also raised over his forfeited company inactive status due to inconsistencies with Texas tax law, all while simultaneously serving as chief of staff for State Representative Poncho Nevares, a Democrat from Eagle Pass. Local taxpayers were right to question how a full-time legislative chief of staff was able to work as a full-time unregistered lobbyist for the city. To say the least, it's unethical and results in a conflict of interest between the two tax-funded clients. Ultimately, his contract was terminated in part for billing EEDC biweekly for fraudulent meetings at the taxpayer's expense. Guys, that is coming directly from Texas Scorecard. I quoted you, read exactly what this thing said. So that doesn't sound attractive for us down here, just extending their contract to 96,000. Now, I mentioned that we were going to show you about the registration of how you can check, and anybody can check this up, guys. It is, let's see, it's public record. And all these articles, like I said, I mean, I'm not trying to create anything. My thing was that we saw an important, a public figure here in Maverick County go to the Maverick County Commissioner's Court meeting and suggest, there might be a problem with this situation. So we're out here trying to see, okay, this is this year, 2022, right? This is who registered in 2022. So now we use this PDF thing and it'll take us. Yeah, sure enough. Look, in 2022, I don't know if you guys can see. Let me zoom in for you a little bit. But for Maverick County, Uberlan Salinas, 500 Quarry Street, registered at 1708 Highland Ridge Road in Georgetown. It says modified here. I don't know what that means. Can't speculate on that, but he's registered in 2022. Let's see. Let's see here. No, this is not the right one. I'm trying to show you guys where you guys, if you would want to ever check, if you want to check if anybody, there you go. It's Texas Ethics Commission. I was Googling all sorts of stuff, right? But we want to see, the registrations, and you can check these by year as well. So we checked in 2022, and he was registered. So let's check 2021. Sure enough, Uberlan Salinas lobbying. This one doesn't tell you the organization, but he was registered in 2021 as a lobbyist. Okay, let's go back. What about 2020? Because he was still employed in 2020. Not on there. Okay. Maybe he forgot 1 year. It happens. People forget. This is 2019 registered lobbyists. Hmm. Wasn't registered in 2019, according to this. 2018? There he is. He's there in 2018. So that's the year that they started. Then in 2019, you guys saw, according to Texas Ethics Committee, he did not register 2019 and 2020 until 2021 again. Now, they've been on contract since 2018, and that was, again, you saw immediately after um, that happened. But another thing that came up was signature advocacy, because it says signature advocacy according to this scorecard, and we saw an invoice of signature advocacy. So we wonder what happened to signature advocacy, if that has any significance. What happened to that business, right? So we have another article here. Let's see what we can. Okay, this is back in 2017. It says Edinburgh EDC approves contract despite public concern. It says the Edinburgh Economic Development Corporation Board met last week to consider renewing a contract with Signature Advocacy, Inc., a company owned and operated solely by Uberlan Ovi Salinas. Again, a partner in Shepherd Government Affairs that Maverick County just renewed or rehired for another $96,000 for the year. For about $75,000 per year, Salinas has coordinated communication between the EEDC and other local, regional, and state level entities, including school districts, beginning in June 2016. I'm quoting EEDC Executive Director Agustin Gus Garcia. This is what one partner of Shepherd Government Affairs is saying about the other partner of Shepherd Government Affairs. OB kind of bridges the gap between local and state level. Last week, it says that the board approved a 6-month renewal at the price tag of $6,300. Now, there's a whole thing of the company's legitimacy here in this AP News. This is AP News, guys, that they document. According to public records, Advocacy Inc. forfeited its existence as a corporation in January due to tax purposes. Instead of reinstating its status, Salinas registered another company 5 years later that bore almost identical name. Salinas filed to create his second company, Signature Advocacy LLC, on June 29th, the day before the EEDC board met to discuss his contract renewal. So the day before they were going to meet to get the contract renewal, he created his second company on June 29th, which was the same name except Inc. turned into LLC, according to what the AP News is saying here. And that Signature Advocacy LLC did have a good standing with Secretary of State. Here, the attorney of the EEDC, Aaron Vela, he indicated the discrepancy did not present a conflict, so there was no problem legally about it. But of course, according to AP, that they're saying as a professional consultant. Oh, this is what Salinas said to the Monitor, which is another news broadcast, right? As a professional consultant, I have been in the process of switching from Inc. to an LLC for tax purposes. Quoting, right? This is the reason for the discrepancy between Signature Inc. and Advocacy. However, in the efforts to appease all parties, he reinstated Signature Advocacy Inc. and will dissolve LLC. The LLC, which is Signature Advocacy LLC. Again, they bring up the concerns of him not being registered as a lobbyist and having those filings filed with the state of Texas. This is AP News, guys. AP News. Um, Again, they bring up the concerns of being a chief of staff at the time and also being able to run a full liaison position, I guess, as they mentioned. It says it was brought up. Yeah, it says here the lobbying issue becomes further complicated. I'm quoting the AP News, because Salinas serves as the chief of staff for State Rep. Alfonso Poncho Navarez, Democrat Eagle Pass. Critics argue Salinas cannot actively lobby on behalf of the EEDC because he works for a state representative, and doing so would be a conflict of interest. And I'll share this link again with you guys so you guys can go ahead and read everything together. Have something to point yourself and back yourself. But we're getting this straight from the website as we're showing you on our side to side camera. um, AP News reports about Salinas's track record. Obi Salinas was, I quoting AP News, Salinas was tied to a deal that ended up costing Edinburgh School District more than $270,000 as chief marketing officer for a California-based Quixie Technology Services. Salinas helped the company connect with Edinburgh CISD. The district was on the hunt for school bus cameras to outfit 250 vehicles. After winning the bid, Quixie failed to deliver the services it had promised. The district made several failed attempts to reach out to the company, which was not registered with the California Secretary of State's office, before filing a lawsuit seeking $800,000 in damages. Now it tells you about the owners here, and you know there was something going on. There was legal issues there, and I'm quoting again. Still, Salinas continued to work as a liaison for the school district, this time through his contract with EEDC. Salinas was initially brought on board to help the nonprofit engage with the school district for the construction of the Memorial Eisenhower Sports Complex. But communication broke down somewhere along the way and the project was delayed for more than a year. The issue became heated and ended up on social media, pitting the district against the city. So that was one of the issues. Of course, the AP News put this out there. It's documented. I was quoting them, and it's just a whole host of issues stemming from this partnership that's going on, and the commissioners, the majority of the commissioners, as you saw in the video before, are not bringing up any issue. I don't know if they did any research to take a look at this issue going on. And it's you know, we are a county that does not have too much resources. That everything we get where we need it, could use more probably. But whenever there's a situation where it really looks like commissioner's court is throwing money away and maybe contributing to, I don't know what you would call this kind of background, but and it's not for me to say, but what I guess I'm trying to get at is that it's very disappointing that you have the majority of commissioners and the judge not concerned with these issues. How would you not be concerned if spending taxpayer funding? This is your taxes, guys, not it's theirs as well too, right? I can't say their taxes, but it's not theirs. But this is Maverick County taxpayer money going $96,000 to what we've just shown you. And of course, you'll have time to check back in this video. I'll provide you the link so you guys can see what it is that's going on. And then, of course, here we go in 2018, February 5th. It says Amy Rister is moving up from Deputy Chief of Staff to Chief of Staff for Representative Poncho Nevares, replacing Obi Salinas. And they're both married, guys. One thing that I found out through doing searching for grants and talking with people trying to get grants for a contract that I had with the water district before, Amy Rister's married to Obi Salinas, which is kind of weird there. But that's pretty much it, guys. I didn't want to make anything too long today. I wanted you guys to see something special coming up for y'all. Sorry about that. I wanted you guys to see the different situation of what is happening here currently, um, with the Democratic nominee Ramsey English Cantu for county judge making a concern, expressing a concern of how, or wanting at least the commissioner's court to say something, to uh, tell us why this company deserves to get an extension for another $96,000. According to many documents here, something isn't right. We showed you guys, we quoted many of these articles that we have found. We showed you when he was registered as a lobbyist, when he wasn't registered as a lobbyist. And I would invite you guys as well to, oh, here you go. This is another interesting one. We're not done yet, guys. So give us a second here. This is another one of very much interest. All right. So you can see here, this is Oberlando Obi Salinas. Just look at these amounts that people have paid him in lobbying. You have, you know, 54,000 from Pete Gallego, 27,000 Alberto Rodriguez, 16,600 Scott Cosper, 6,000, 1,060 Poncho Nevares. This is from 2015 to now, guys. So it's not 1 year or anything like that. And of course, P. Gallego, he hasn't been voted on in a while. So this is from 2015 on to now, and that's some pretty good change. And this is according to transparencyusa.org. If you go to transparencyusa.org, you can go ahead and find out pretty much anybody that does any lobbying, any company that has donated to lobbyists or donated to people running, you can go ahead and check that out. Transparencyusa.org, guys, and you can see anybody out there that anybody out there that you're curious of where money is or who's getting money or what the donation looks like, anything like that. So we're gonna go ahead and say goodbye